let's start off by okay. So it's the year 2020. Eric Young is the world champion, and the Machine Guns are the tag team champions. It almost feels like a time warp right now. How has the current run been for you?
It's been good. It's been, if I could envision what my return to wrestling in this year would have been like, I don't think I could have imagined it to be better. Alex Shelley and I showed up, and we were on point. I think we're better than we were when we were in TNA, 8 years ago. So I don't think it could have gone any better. I'm happy to be representing the company as the tag team champion.
Fantastic. Now you have a very well documented ACL injury, but when I watch your matches, it doesn't feel like it at all. How are you able to operate at the same level and the same speed as your classic run?
Yeah, I have had a lot of bad luck with injuries, unfortunately. Like the last probably 10 years of my career has been just riddled with injuries, unfortunately. But what happens in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. I still feel like I've got a lot to give to the wrestling business. So, keeping up on my health, keeping up on training. I got to train, strength, flexibility, speed, all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I just have to keep up on it. Otherwise, I'll start to fall behind. So, just got to put a little extra training and a little extra mental fortitude into it to be able to continue after all the injuries I've had.
Okay, so I don't know if you're aware of this, but you're very over in India, and we asked our readers to, send questions for you. And something everyone brought up was your feud with Kevin Nash. Now, looking back, how was it working with a man like him, and where does it rank among everything you've done in your career?
Well, back then when my feud with Kevin Nash was going on, I was still pretty young in the business. I was still in my early 20s. So for me, it was really cool because I was getting to I was getting to work with Kevin Nash, who, not that long ago, I would come home from school and pop in wrestling tapes, and I was watching Diesel and, or Kevin Nash from the NWO and stuff. So just as a fan, and being young, it was just really cool for me because I was got to do a storyline with this guy that I've been watching since I was a kid. So
That segues into my next question. One of the things that everybody seems to be talking about right now is that Ken Shamrock will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. What do you think of him getting inducted for someone who's been in TNA for as long as you have? And what do you think about The Rock's involvement in the whole process? He has said that he would like to induct Ken Shamrock.
I think that would be great. Ken Shamrock was the first TNA champion, as I think it was the NWA belt back then. But first, I'm on the TNA television program. Ken Shamrock was the first champion, so it only makes sense that he would be inducted into the Hall of Fame. If The Rock wants to induct him, then that would be amazing because that would just increase awareness for Impact Wrestling, and I'm all for that. So that would be great.
So, in time, when the machine guns actually go into the Hall of Fame, whom would you like to induct you?
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe Vince Russo, because Vince Russo didn't believe in us at first when we were trying to form our tag team in the company. Vince didn't see it, he didn't believe in it. So I think we proved him wrong. So it'd be nice to have him induct us in the Hall of Fame, I think.
So, what was his whole problem with the machine guns?
What, back in the day?
Yes.
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. Alex Shelley and myself both saw a vision for us, and I guess just they didn't see it at first. We just had to prove it. So we kept, pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and then every time we would have a chance to show what kind of chemistry we had as performers, we would show it. And eventually, they just came around, and I think they realized it was worth it.
Okay. So, after your initial run with the machine guns, you became the world champion. And I was reading an interview of yours where you said you weren't ready to be world champion at that point in time. Do you think if in due course of time you become the face of Impact Wrestling right now, you are ready for the position?
Yeah, I think so. I think, the reason why that was tough for me, I was out for 2 years straight, recovering from injuries. And then before that, for several years, I was only a tag team wrestler. So, when I made my comeback, I worked really hard. I was really prepared to do this, but I wasn't expecting to get all that thrown at me, especially with the company the way it was. It was very, very political at that time. And, we're talking Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Bruce Pritchard, all these guys that, are, I don't know what you want to call them, like top wrestling executives that have been in the business for so long. Like, they were all running things. And I was just this kid. They didn't really know me because I was gone for the last 2 years. So, I guess I impressed them enough when I came back to get that push. But, you know, I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. When I realized everything that was involved with it, I realized that I wasn't ready. I needed time to find myself as a singles wrestler. But, I also, when I first came back, the first interview I did, I said, I'm in this business to be the world heavyweight champion. So I brought it out myself.
Okay, fantastic. Uh, so, if you could bring back one TNA original back to the company, whom would you pick?
Oh, I would like to have Amazing Red back.
Wow.
I think that would be great. Amazing Red was so influential and meaningful in the early years of the X division. I think it'd be great to have him back. Plus, I just like him as a dude. So
Okay, fantastic. For Slammiversary, a lot of surprises were advertised, and it was hyped up to be a show where a lot of surprises will happen. That is not the case for Bound for Glory. It's going to be a strong card, but there's no gimmick around it, so to speak. Why should people watch Bound for Glory? Your answer.
well, I think that it's going to be a special pay per view. If you've been following some of these guys for a long time, you've seen the struggles and the hard work that a lot of the athletes that will be performing on the show have put in. One match I'm really looking forward to is Eric Young versus Rich Swann. I've been a big fan of Rich Swann for a long time, so it's very cool to see him ascend to this point to be in the main event for the World Championship at Bound for Glory. And I hope I get to wrestle Rich Swann one day also. So I'm really looking forward to that match. The tag team match, the Motor City Machine Guns deliver every time we step into the ring. So you're not going to be disappointed when you see the tag team title match. Motor City Machine Guns and all those tag teams who are extremely talented are going to do what we tend to, entertain the fans and get them their money's worth. And I think that's one of the things that drives a lot of the athletes in Impact Wrestling is that there's room for growth, and we all know it. And everybody is super motivated and super focused on just helping this company grow. So you're going to see a lot of raw passion and a lot of just really motivated athletes trying to give you your money's worth.
And when you look at, you mentioned the talent in the locker room. When you look at someone like the Rascals, whom you faced already, do they remind you of yourself and Alex?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. They do. You know, there's young guys, super talented, just making their way through the business, and they were in a similar position to we were back then when we were their age. So.
Okay, fantastic. Also, Impact Wrestling, you have been a part of so many eras of Impact Wrestling. The current era has really made intergender wrestling one of its primary focuses. What do you think about it?
About its connection with independent wrestling.
The intergender wrestling, men facing women
Oh,
and wrestling.
intergender.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry. Okay, my bad. Yeah, I think that's cool. I think it's different. For a long time, that wasn't a thing that was accepted in pro wrestling. It's becoming more and more accepted because it's if it's done right, it's extremely entertaining and it's fun to watch the girls beat up the guys a little bit. For example, the X Division title match at Bound for Glory has Jordan Grace in it. She's wrestling against five dudes, so I'm looking forward to see how that turns out.
Okay, fantastic. And how does the leadership of this current era measure up to, you said Impact Wrestling had become very political. How does this current leadership measure up to the classic eras?
Yeah, it's like back when I said it was very political, that was back in like 2013. You know, when I think
Right.
back, it's a completely different company now. Um, Back then, I felt like I kind of had to walk on eggshells, and it was just the whole vibe of the company was. I don't even know how to explain it. It just wasn't comfortable. Um, Now it's a lot more comfortable. You know, there's still all the pressure to perform the best you possibly can, of course, because you know that kind of pressure comes from the fans, from wanting to please the fans. But at the same time, management nowadays sees the connection between um, allowing the performers to be themselves as opposed to trying to mold them into something they want them to be. They see that connection of you know, you gotta bring out this person's natural personality so it comes across as natural, because if you try to force something on them and then their performance looks forced, and then people can tell. So
Okay. Okay. Great.